It's about dinner time, so I'm going to have some watermelon for my dinner. I'm not sure what Matt's going to do. He's been up in the woods this morning. But first I'm going to make, we have for supper, I don't have to worry about supper today, we have some leftovers. Yesterday Matt made us a rack of ribs, barbecue ribs. They're really good. We had some fresh green beans from the garden, and we had roasted potatoes also from our garden. So we have some leftovers of all that. I might need to make some more potatoes, but that would be really easy. Anyway, and we just had homemade bread to go with that. So really simple supper, and that's already took care of. So I've got some other things I needed to do. One of them, these are some green beans we canned, so I need to check on them and make sure if they're ready to be put on the pantry shelves. But I want to make something sweet. We've really had a taste of fall. That taste of fall has left. It's not here anymore. Warm weather's back. But I'm going to try to hurry it along, thinking about fall of the year. I wish it would get here in the cooler temperatures, and this has just been such a hot, dry summer. I'm hopeful that fall weather, when fall of the year gets here, it'll bring some rain, bring some moisture, and weather will change. Anyway, I'm thinking about fall, so I'm going to make us a loaf of apple bread, and I'll show you how to do that. But first, I'm going to check on my green beans here. I always just make sure that they've all sealed. They're still a little bit warm. We canned them late yesterday evening. And then sometimes I take these off, sometimes I don't, but I'm going to today. The main thing I do is I like to write on the top of them. Now these are self-evident, they're green beans, so all I will do is write 24. And that way I know that they were this year's green beans. It's amazing how the jars are still warm. I know it's been almost 24 hours now, I guess. A little under that, but. So green beans definitely last, if you don't eat them all up the first year, a year from now, could open one of these. But they last longer than that too, I've found, several years even. I always tell people, when it comes to canned things like this, like the optimum date might be just the year, 6 months from now, a year from now. But even if you found a can in your pantry that got in the back somehow and it was from 2020 even, I would still not be afraid to eat those beans. Now they might not be as good as the ones that had been canned, between now and then. But definitely green beans last a long time on the shelf, on the pantry after they're canned. And it's a good thing for us because we eat a lot of beans, so we usually put up a lot of beans. But this year, because of the dry weather, this is only our second run of beans for the whole summer, which is really strange for us, really, really strange. But thankfully I have a few jars from last year left, so that's a good thing. Last year was a bumper year for green beans, so I have a few on the pantry shelves for last year. So if you're somebody that puts up food and some years we eat it all. It's interesting, I've shared in videos before when I've talked about this. It seems like one year we'll eat a lot of something and then the next year maybe not so much. So, it kind of swaps out, if that makes sense. Maybe there's a year that we eat every jar of jelly that I made, and then the next year there's 3 or 4 left hanging on, at the end when I start making jelly again. So I just put those to the side, kind of organize my shelves like that. And same thing for green beans. So those from last year that we didn't eat, they're still sitting down there, and we'll eat them. We'll eat them first before we start going through these, but even if we miss a jar, we'll eat it eventually. So now I'm going to take these and put these up. Go ahead and put these in my sink so I can wash them, and then get all my ingredients out so that I can tell you about that wonderful apple bread. I think I've got all my ingredients together, and I'll go over them with you. I'm using some apples. You can see here that I've shredded up. They're actually some apples that Granny's cousin Ruth brought her, and Granny shared some of them with me, and I don't know what kind they are. They'd come straight from the tree in Hendersonville, North Carolina, Ruth said. But they are so tasty. They're so sweet, they almost taste like candy. I'm going to find out. I'll have to ask her what variety of apple they are. But so for the recipe, what you're going to need, it says this apple bread is very tasty. It's perfect for breakfast or an evening snack, or for dessert, I would say. So this is in mine and Jim Cassidy's cookbook, Celebrating Southern Appalachian Food. So you're going to need 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon salt, 1/2 cup of softened butter, 1 1/2 cup sugar, 2 eggs, and then 2 cups of finely shredded apples. And this last one can be left out if you didn't want to use nuts, but 1/2 cup chopped nuts. Black walnuts are especially good, and that's what I've got today, black walnuts. So I'll read you the instructions for the recipe. It's very, very simple, and then I'll show you how to put it together. So we're going to sift together the flour, baking powder, cinnamon, nutmeg, and salt, and just set that aside. I've not done that yet, but I will. Then we're going to cream the butter and sugar until light. Add eggs one at a time, mixing well after each. Add flour mixture and apples alternately. Stir in walnuts, and then we're going to spoon it into a well-greased loaf pan, or use parchment paper to line the pan. I've used parchment paper for mine. Bake at 350 degrees for 1 hour or until done. Cool in pan 10 minutes. Remove from pan and cool completely. Using that parchment paper makes it really easy to remove from pan because you can just lift it up. If you have trouble with your sticking or something, you could run a knife around the edge, and sometimes I've found just waiting longer than the 10 minutes will let it release from the pan. And sometimes mine's not necessarily this recipe, but other recipes stick to my cake pans or my bread pans or my muffin pans or whatever it is I'm doing. They're still good. It still tastes good even if it falls apart. So that's how I always console myself. Of course, you do want it to look nice. So now I'm going to show you how to put it all together. We'll go over to the mixer. I've got the butter in there. I'm going to add the sugar and then let it cream together. Okay, we're going to add the eggs one at a time if I can, and mix it in. Okay, add the next one.
I said we were going to clean more basement.
Okay, we got that all mixed up now. Nice. Now we're going to start adding the dry ingredients and the apples. I'll add some dry first. Once I sifted that together with that wonderful nutmeg and cinnamon, oh my goodness, it really does smell like fall in here now. Now I'm going to add some apples. I'm getting my batter on my measuring cup there. And then I'm just going to repeat that back and forth, the dry and the apples, till they're all added. This is the last of my apples, and I just left the skin on. Sometimes I peel the apples, but this time I just left the skin right on there and shredded them too. Look at how much juice was in these apples. So I'm going to add all that juice in there. Your apples may not be that juicy, and if they're not, that's okay. Mine usually are not. This is just unusually juicy apples. I've got to find out what kind they are for sure. See if I can get some more, which I probably can't, but unless I go to Hendersonville, then I might be able to. I'm going to give the bowl a scrape and throw the black walnuts in there just for a minute, and then we'll be ready to put it in the pan. I'm going to go ahead and throw the black walnuts. That's probably good. Now we're ready to go in the pan. If you are using parchment paper, you can be much neater than I am. I'm not usually very neat about it. Although if you put some in there and kind of push it around to hold it down, it makes it easier. But again, I'm not very neat about it. Usually the cake will, as it cooks and expands, will push the paper back. But sometimes it leaves a little, if you're not neat, like I'm not, leaves a little imprint on the edge. Kind of like when you sleep at night, if your face gets against a wrinkle in the pillow or the bedclothes. Kind of the same thing. If you hear a lot of racket behind me today, Corey and Woodrow have come up, so you probably heard him a minute ago doing a little squealy cry. But Corey and Matt are going to can some deer meat, so they're trying to prepare for that. So I'm going to get out of their way just in time. Get this in the stove. I see a little fruit fly trying to get in my cake too, or my bread. So I'm going to try to get out of their way. And I got some other stuff I need to do. I'm going to go ship cookbooks, actually, is what I need to do next on my list for today. And once this gets done, though, I will definitely show you how it turns out. Get my other little spatula here and show you how good it is. Maybe I can entice Matt to eat a piece with me and hope for cooler temperatures. Hope fall really does arrive now that our heat's come back.
Everybody comes in here like a bunch of dogs when you got something to eat.
I know. I'm calling all people to come and see if they want a piece. You ready? Oh, it's still warm too. I've had it, this is later in the day, so I've had it sitting out, but it feels still warm.
Oh, I got spit up all over me. That's interesting.
That's what the babies, that's a usual occurrence here.
Must be from Ira, because I was holding him.
So this is good just like it is, but it's also good if you wanted to toast it and put some butter or some cream cheese or something. I don't know, Dad, are you back there? You want this piece, Corey?
Put the embers.
I don't care either one. I hope it tastes like fall. I'm trying to encourage fall to come. It's good.
Very good.
These walnuts.
Tastes like fall. Nice little crunch on the outside and soft on the inside. I guess we could have got forks. We're just all using our hands.
Enjoy it.
Job, we're animals.
Good, Mama.
Need some milk to go with it.
I fully expect people to come trick-or-treating tonight after eating this.
Oh.
We can pretend. We can get the boys some little candy sacks. And what are the boys going to be following? We're going to put them in
I
little
know.
outfits.
Ginger sent me I can't remember what it was now, but she sent me an ideal a long time ago, so this would be cute.
We're going to dress Ira up as Binks. He's going to be Binks for Halloween.
One of y'all were a cat one time.
It was me. Okay. Oh, that's cool. That was the precursor to Binky. Stinky Binky.
Matt's hunting, I think, some milk or something. I don't know what he's hunting.
Yeah. I'm going to go hear the baby. I'm peacing out.
Where are you going?
Woodrow is sleeping, but Corey thinks he's awake.
He's still asleep.
So very good.
Just supper?
No. Won't be long till supper time though. I hope it really does bring fall to us. We're ready for some cooler air. We had some cooler air and then it left, and now we're back to, feels like summer, doesn't it? Are you helping yourself to your daddy's milk?
Thank you.
I hope if you try the recipe, you really enjoy it. I'll put the information for mine and Jim's cookbook in the description below in case you're interested in that. And we're always grateful when you stop by to help us celebrate Appalachia.
He's stirring. He's got his little eye there.
Corey's going to take the whole
Take the
thing.
cake to Woody?
Yeah. He'd probably like it.
He probably would if he could eat it.
He probably would. is good. Be good toasted with some cream cheese or butter.
Yes, it would.
But just like this is good.
You're a culinary success.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.